As the structure fails. How's it going, everybody? I'm Jukebox. We're back with another music video reaction. This is my second one, so bear with me as I improve. We have a guest with us tonight, Patrick Rippeto. Man, how the hell are you?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm ready to see whatever the hell this is.
This is fantastic, dude. That's great because I wanted the kind of that raw reaction. Like I figured with each guest that I have on, I'll kind of get some input on what they want, but then I don't want to play something that they've already seen because I think it'll make it that much more interesting, if that makes sense.
Yeah, reactions are always great. You want it to be like, yeah, let's see what their raw first impressions are.
Yeah, of course. This band as a structure felt, and you being a, even though I'm throwing this back in there, you being a metalhead, it helps with this because it's metal. I love metal. You love metal. I think you venture into a little bit more subgenres of metal than I do, which is great. Maybe you'll actually have some input on this that I won't, because I'm not like a music enthusiast. And like I love music, but I can't sit here and be like, oh man, his falsetto was amazing. You know, like that's not. I'm not that in depth with this stuff.
Yeah, I've been entrenched in music for far too long. I think I've been playing guitar for 23 years.
Yeah, you're even in your own band, man. It's not metal, but it's is it called? It's called the Attic Light. Is that right? Am I wrong?
At just Attic Light, yeah, kind
Just
of like
a
funky dance rock thing. But
Mhm.
I got my start in metal. I had a band back in the early 2010s called Ascension.
Okay, yeah. I think we've talked about this.
Yeah, it's
At
kind
some
of an
point.
old school thrash throwback. Our lead singer looked like if Chad Kroeger and James Hetfield had a love child.
So this is as the structure fails. They are based out of Ontario, Canada. They have two screamers. The two in the front middle here, they're brothers, and
Okay.
they started the band. The drummer, I believe, is the guy in the back. He actually struggled with brain cancer, and he was diagnosed with like a brain disease and had multiple surgeries. I'm not 100% that it was cancer, but I know it was an issue where he had multiple surgeries and eventually kind of overcame it. But it kind of brought the band together. They actually put their music careers aside to kind of help him battle the through the surgeries and everything, which is for a backstory is fantastic for a band. I think.
Yeah, and him having fighting a brain disease is pretty freaking metal.
Dude, 100%. You can't really argue that.
I mean, that's like the premise of a Cannibal Corpse song right there.
That now with this image of the band, what's your opinions of it? Of just the picture itself?
I mean, there's not enough hair. That's kind of my first. There's neither beard nor length going on, and I mean, they're taking themselves very seriously, and it gives me like whenever I was growing up playing with Ascension, when we were doing like local metal shows, we were just surrounded by like hardcore metalcore bands, and these guys kind of give me this vibe of a high school scene group that's grown up.
100%.
Like they've cut off their super swoops, they've taken away the plaid checkers, and now they're just like black shirt, black pants. Let's go.
Well, yeah, and my view is like early Y2K, like early 2000s. Like there was a big jump in the scene, like Whitechapel, Born of Osiris, Emure, kind of esque style music really was starting to kind of blow up during that time frame. And these were a lot of those images from the bands were stuff like this. And nothing against it, but I do feel like it's more of like a mainstream focus of like a band cover.
Yeah, definitely. It's very clean. It's very, you kind of, these are the guys. And I almost too like looking at it like this, it's almost like they themselves don't want to be the focus. They want it to maybe be just the music itself is what you want to pay attention to. Because there's nothing really like glam rock. There's nothing really like flashy or showy. We're a group of dudes and we're gonna melt your face.
Yes. And that's getting into it. That's kind of where this goes. I think their music is great. It's not over the top death metal, which I do like to the point where you can't understand anything they're saying. Cannibal Corpse-esque. I can get up there on a level where maybe 2% of the population can enjoy it.
It's or you go to that extreme, like throw in some Lorna Shore with Will Ramos. Like
Yeah, and even
Where
that
the
I feel like is a step above these guys. Again, nothing against them. Love Lorna Shore. They've got the screaming go on, but I think that Lorna Shore is definitely a step above them as far as like intensity wise.
Mhm.
And even in their images, same thing,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah, I mean, when you're sounding like a pig at slaughter and then the imagery you're putting forth is equally as grotesque.
Let's get in these guys' music video. This song is called Back Down by As the Structures Fail. And like I said, we're going to critique everything as far as the video itself, maybe their vocals, maybe the music, and the instrument behind it. Whatever you want to talk about, I'll stop it when I feel like it. If you want to start talking, let me know, and I'll pause it so we can talk about it. Sound good?
Works.
All right, what are you thinking so far?
I mean, that first intro on there's, I think I've woken up like days like that, just feeling like I'm a child, just drooling and slobbering over myself, especially after like some of the stuff that's happened on the road. But
Yeah,
that's
yeah. They definitely are doing like the whole daycare. I feel like I've had to be nursed back to health after a nice bender.
yeah. Yes, yeah. You play a show, you have fun, then you go out after the show, and then you sleep wherever you are, and you just wake up as Mom. It's an interesting
Um,
it's an interesting intro to it. I'm curious to see where it's gonna keep going because like now we're just in the kindergarten room, just like smashing shit.
yes, they're getting heavy. Let's keep going. I like their outfits. I think it's funny because, um, it's like so the dude in the front on the left, it's almost like he's wearing a football jersey, but it's meant to be like for a child.
Right. Yeah. And he's if it is a child, he's a big boy and his parents need to get him a better shirt.
Let's keep going.
Yeah, it's
Did did
let's
did you ever eat crayons in school? I don't think I ever ate crayons.
no. I was if I had to do anything, I was a paper eater. That
In
was it.
fourth
Like
grade, okay, this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous, but in fourth grade, we used to take pencil shavings and we'd wrap them in notebook paper and act like we were smoking them.
actually light up the pencil shavings and like I'm
No,
so
I don't think we.
cool.
If they did, I don't know. But we definitely made it seem like we acted like we were smoking cigarettes.
Ugh. Which like when the guy was being like pushed around in the cart before we paused, that's what it
Yes.
looked like he had in his mouth right there, like a sucker or like a fake cigarette. I mean, nothing like a 27-year-old in elementary school just smoking cigarettes in the boys' room.
It's funny because it does kind of capture that like almost that youth metal band esque kind of just having fun like during a show,
Yeah,
before a show, like on tour, just kind of just doing ridiculous stuff.
yeah. This is a far contrast from what we saw from just like the actual static image of the guys, where they're just mean mugging, serious business kind of
Yes.
guys, and now
Well, and this is
we
the vibe with like a lot of their music videos too.
they're just kind of like just goofy dudes.
Yes. They have some serious ones, but there's quite a few that are just obnoxiously just humorous.
Like it definitely reminds me of like I think when as we were watching this made me think of a lot of Blink 182's music videos.
Yeah.
like maybe not with the sort of the weird, like, because they're pushing some like Ren and Stimpy kind of vibes with some of the stuff they're doing, like him chewing on the pencil and like barfing it up.
Yeah.
But definitely like just like the unhinged ridiculousness of a bunch of guys who are playing fun music and just having fun, like all the small things in Blink 182, how ridiculous that video was.
Yes. Oh man. And one thing is like if you're just listening to the band, you're like, oh, this is pretty good. This is a good metal band. But I mean, the video throws a whole nother like contrast of who they are, I feel like.
Yeah,
like
definitely.
If you just listen to
does.
the audio, you know.
It just kind of blends into, it's like, okay, this is another hardcore band that I've listened to before. Some
Yes.
sick breakdowns.
And it's nothing even against them. I think it's good. But I can probably name another dozen bands that are similar vibe. Again, good, but you know they have a lot of similarities to other bands. So
curious to see where
All
this
right,
will
you ready to
go,
keep going?
and how it's gonna like tie in with the actual song.
Yeah, which I don't even know if it does, but we'll see.
And that's okay.
So throwing in that kind of more singing vocals, also I feel like it's pretty stereotypical, but the vocals themselves are actually really clear and really good.
Yeah, so that little kind of like chorus, pre-chorus thing, it definitely struck me as something you do see in like metalcore styles a lot, but the arrangement and composition of that section I liked a lot more than what I've heard from other bands in like the similar vein. Because normally there's just like some clean guitar and just the guy can sing. You see a lot with like Killswitch Engaged is a big one that I think does a lot of that. But the actual layering and the part rating of all like the synth and the backing stuff was a lot more ambient and full. And that's kind of what gets me with a lot of music. I love metal music that can, or really just music in general, that's just a wall of sound. And if they can hit you with that, that's like not necessarily just like beats and double bass, but actual like fullness where it feels like a wave is coming over you.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. And actually, it's funny that you mentioned the synth because I think that's something that was kind of like ear pleasing, I guess is the right word.
Yeah.
Because hearing that blend of it, it's nice to hear it catch and actually go with the flow of the music.
Yeah, and that's something that like it definitely hooked in, and it really highlighted his voice and just kind of lifted it up quite a bit more.
Yeah,
where you could just have him singing over, just guitar or whatever. But it's part of the composition that just really fills it out. It puts some meat on the bones of that song.
Agreed. And the way that they're acting, the scenes that they're doing, I feel like it's whoever came up with the idea for the music video itself was like, hey, let's be in a daycare, act like hit children. I think they've captured that along with trying to keep that serious music sound to it. They're still capturing that kind of childlike behavior.
Yeah, it's an interesting, especially like when they're getting into that point when they're playing the music in their kid outfits.
Yes.
It's like, how
let's keep going. What do you got?
I would say like, how would a bunch of 4-year-olds play some metal?
We got it. We got this. Let's just go. We do this like 4 nights a week, man.
It's our life.
Never coming down. Never come back. Never come back down. Negativity always on direct me. Hear that crash, rapid into the clouds, right there and up tonight. It doesn't matter anymore.
do want to talk about the fact that they have two different screamers and how different their screams are.
Yeah, I was picking up on that too. Like the thinner guy definitely has more of that like really higher pitched, like banshee kind of scream.
And it almost has like he almost has almost a hip hop esque kind of sound in his vocals too, compared to
Yeah,
the other guy. As far as
definitely a
like the
little.
flow.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, like more like staccato, chopped up, better like spoken word kind of stuff. Where the other guy
Mhm.
is definitely getting into more of that kind of classic, like kind of growl.
Which fits his like physical for the way he looks physically, just kind of a big builter guy, kind of just in your face in the mic just screaming. I get more of that out of him, as the other guy is throwing in a lot more personality, I think.
Yeah,
It's showing more of his personality. Nothing to shame the other guy. I think he's great. But the thinner guy is not only throwing in that kind of hip hop esque sound, but he's also got a really good scream as well.
yeah, I dig it. Sometimes I can be really on the fence when you're dealing with these bands that have like dueling vocalists. Um,
Mhm.
kind of goes back to like one of the shows that we played, and there's again with all these scene kids and hardcore metalcore bands. There was at one point where we were thinking about starting like a drinking game with this one band where we would close our eyes and we had to guess whenever the vocalist switched.
Right.
Most of the time we couldn't tell. They're
Oh,
they're
seriously?
seriously, like both of the dudes were just like, they weren't even trained screamers or harsh vocalists, so it just sounded like guys screaming. And we close our eyes and be like, okay, if you get this wrong, you have to drink. All right, close your eyes. How many times did they change in this one verse? 2? No, 5. They changed 5 times. I'm like, damn it. So it's nice with this.
Jeez.
It's nice with this that there's like
Mm.
2 distinct characters or characteristics within their
Agreed.
vocals. It makes it more dynamic. It
Yeah,
makes it
and
more interesting.
I'm gonna guess that they intentionally are, and I really feel like they're intentionally doing that, which is fantastic.
Yeah, yeah, and it's smart on them if they wanted to do that to make sure and have the wherewithal to be like, hey, if we're going to do this, let's make sure there's some difference in what we're doing.
Yes. Right. All right, let's keep going here.
So
Alright.
I think
Go ahead.
I think I found the connection for this song in this video. Um,
What is it?
not wanting to leave your childhood, wanting to stay
Oh,
like
yeah.
fun and free, and wanting to go back to
Yeah.
the simpler time where you can just fuck around, make a mess, and there's little to no consequence.
Forget your priorities. Forget your priorities. Just have a good time.
Yeah. Yeah, I was actually like really trying to listen to the lyrics of the chorus there. I'm like, oh, there it is.
Yeah. Makes sense. I love how they brought a child into the video too. I think that's adds an extra element to it, which is really cool. Especially because if you see even from that little bit, like they're having fun with the kid too.
Yeah, and the kid's there having a blast. He Probably it's like, okay, these guys are in a band. Cool. I don't care. My parents are letting me like, just screw around for a little while. That's pretty fun. That's really fun. And the final image of a man just covered in sugar.
Right. Which would actually not be unpleasant at the time, but the aftermath of cleaning that off would not be the best.
Yeah, it's gonna be a tricky shower.
hmm Overall, what do you think of the music and the video comparison? Like, if you were to rate, let's say out of 5 mics, you separate the video itself from the music itself. Where would you place it?
Like rate the video and that, or just how they combine.
Yes, the video. Rate the video and then rate the music.
I think for me personally, the music is probably like 3.5 mics. Uh,
hmm
they get a little bit more credit than I probably would normally like to a metalcore band just because of the use of like contrasting screamers and how good the chorus is. The video is
Right.
a solid 4 out of 5 though.
Yeah, the creativity behind it. I think when I was watching the video and I was trying to critique it, I was like, okay, this is kind of basic, but I think that the way they played their roles in the film itself, like in the video, they kind of captured that childlike behavior in young adults,
Yeah.
really well.
Yeah, and I mean, that was probably really fun for them to film just to like go back and just screw around and be kids, especially with all like the food fight.
Yeah.
Like, I think that really captured that sort of youthful freedom. And I think that
Mhm.
to me, that's why I'm giving the video like a 4 out of 5. Like, sure, it's kind of like basic when you just kind of look over it, but when you kind of just sit down and
Right.
think about, yeah, how often do we get a chance to be kids again?
Right. I want to say for me, music wise, and not to copy, I think if I had to, like, I'd be a real close between 3.5 and 4. I'm gonna go with more of a 4, only because I think I listen to more of this like new metal vibe music than you probably do. I mean, I'm
Mhm.
sure you listen to it, but I think that I dabble in it a little bit more than you do. And for me, um, comparing it to some of the other bands and some of the clarity in this compared to the other bands, I'm gonna give it more of a 4 out of a 5 mics. And then the video itself, I agree, 4 out of 5. Um, it's creative enough because of how they blended it. I think the concept is, I don't want to say basic, but I feel like it's it's a good concept. But the way they acted in the video itself, I think brings it to that 4.
Yeah, yeah, very kind of like the "Let's be kids again" is nothing new, but it's exactly how they brought themselves and the band and their own personalities
Right.
to this like this box. That's
Mhm.
I love the idea of being creative within confines, just because you
Yeah.
can push that and be a whole lot more creative with that. And they definitely did this with this and kind of running with that idea and making it something
Right.
unique and fun and new.
Agreed. Agreed. Well, I want to thank you again, Patrick, man, for coming on. We've actually talked about doing this kind of stuff before. And we mentioned about doing like a live performance before. You mentioned it to me. And I think maybe that might be something I dabble with in the future.
Yeah,
Maybe even some live sets in general. I think that you and I would do really good at doing. Um, and especially I think you can bring something to the table as far as more of that sub genre level aspect of metal. Because again, I like death metal, I like metalcore, but I think those are pretty basic genres and there's a lot more branches of them. And I think that you might be able to bring a lot more of that to the table than I can. So I definitely look forward to doing a few more of these in the future with you as well.
definitely. I'm always game. My metallic library runs deep in many interesting, weird, and nuanced things.
All right, man. Well, I really appreciate you coming on tonight, and I hope you enjoyed the music. And maybe I introduced something new to you. Uh, Again, the band, as a structure fails. If you guys enjoyed the music video, check out some more of their stuff. And until next time, guys, we'll see you around.